Is the place really haunted? Oh yeah, it's haunted. And it's been haunted for a long time.
The Stanley Hotel in Colorado's picturesque Estes Park is the most haunted hotel in the United States. It's also the place that inspired Stephen King to write his most infamous horror novel, The Shining, which in turn inspired Stanley Kubrick to give us this masterpiece. Here's Johnny! As a reader, I'm always chasing the most immersive way to read a book. And nothing quite screams immersion reading better than reading Stephen King's The Shining at the Stanley Hotel. Hello, friends, family. You can't see me at all. Gosh, no. And intimate reading associates. Isn't it spiffy? Yes, I just got into Estes Park, Colorado, to the infamous Stanley Hotel, where tonight I will be reading Stephen King's The Shining. But not only that, I'm staying in the Stephen King suite. To give you a basic rundown of why this room is so special, other than Stephen King staying here in the early 70s, is that there is a ghost of a maid of a woman named Elizabeth Wilson who caused a gas explosion in the early 1900s. No, she did not die. She actually lived through the explosion and continued to work there for the rest of her days, but apparently she haunts the room, and yeah. That's pretty much it. Let me give you a quick tour. When you walk in, you're greeted by these plush freaking armchairs. Yeah, it's gonna be some delightful, tasty reading there. Then, directly adjacent to that is the massive king-size bed. Of course, we'd have a king-size bed in the Stephen King suite, am I right? It only makes sense. On the west end of the room, we're greeted by just one, oh my gosh, this lighting really sucks. Next to the bed is a reader's dream. Coffee table, leather couch, desk, a fancy mirror. Ooh, yes, who's that handsome devil? And of course, a bookshelf filled with horror's most terrifying authors. Next is this insane bathroom. Oh my gosh, modernized. Last video I saw this, there was a freaking bowl tub right here with a shower head kind of hanging out of the ceiling. Glad they did some renovations. Then you get these insane freaking copper sinks, and no bathroom is right and proper without a nice, lovely walk-in closet. That used to be the walk-in closet, a walk-in shower. Guys, if it seems like I'm rushing through this, it's because I'm sweating. It is so, it's criminally hot in this room right now, and I'm losing my breath. But one last thing with this amazing room, the Stephen King suite.
He would have a very vivid nightmare in this room that would combine all of those elements into The Shining.
And that's a perfect segue into talking about how Stephen King got the inspiration to write The Shining. The story essentially goes something like this. Stephen and his wife Tabitha come to the Stanley in September of 1974. During the night, our main man Steve has a terrible nightmare where his 2-year-old son Joe is being hunted down and devoured by a giant fire hose that chases him down the hallway. When he wakes up, he lights a cigarette, and by the end of that faithful cigarette, he came up with the beginning, middle, and ending of what we now call The Shining. Okay, there's a tour happening right outside my door. I don't think this is going to be the last time of the evening. In fact, I'll be taking one of these tours myself. But the room would not be complete without Stephen himself watching over me while I sleep. And that's it. It doesn't look like much, but apparently this is the most haunted room, the most active room when it comes to spirits and, let's just be frank, they're demons. Immersing myself in the story, in a novel written by the king of horror himself, who stayed in this very room, the room that gave him the inspiration for his most infamous horror novel. It's going to be quite an experience. So I'm excited to take you along with me. We're going to be exploring this place throughout the evening. Of course, I can't just stay in this room all night. I'm going to be going on the same journey that the characters in The Shining go on, in a matter of speaking. So without further ado, roll the montage. Before the montage actually gets going, can we just take a minute to appreciate how freaking beautiful this place is? I mean, you see photos and videos online and you go, I mean, it's not a dump. But I mean, come on, just freaking look at this place. Elegant, rustic, antique. I mean, even their cars are old. Okay, now on to The Shining. I actually read a lot of this book in the airport and on the plane out here, so I started my reading journey when the main characters actually arrived at the hotel. I actually did that on purpose because I thought it would make the immersive reading experience that much better. Here at the beginning of the video, I already felt like it was immersing me completely in the story. Excited to see what the night holds in store for me. Hello, folks. Oh my gosh, you can't see me. What the darn. Real quick. And better. I keep messing with all the people outside of my room because every hour it seems like there's a Shining tour going on. So they always visit this room, of course. It makes sense. But there's also a crap ton of people taking photos. And I just knocked on the door. That woman looked like she, needs to go change after that. I feel so bad. I shouldn't do that. Anyway, guys. I did spend some time around the hotel reading this book. I did not read very much because I got so hungry. But folks, anyway, I'm gonna eat this food and then I'm gonna get back to reading. That would give me, I have about 2 hours before my Shining tour. And then I'll catch back up with you later in the evening when the energy dies down. So I'm about to go explore the hotel, do my thing, read somewhere until my tour is ready to be taken. But while I'm gone, I'm gonna set up a microphone and I'm gonna leave this camera running to see if the ghost supposedly inhabits this room. A maid ghost cleans a little bit of the mess. It's not really all that dirty because apparently she doesn't like dirty rooms and she doesn't like single men. Joke's on her. I'm taken, lady. Back off. I'm gonna go explore. We're gonna leave this going and hopefully I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Who knows? Testing. And I was out of there. It was fantastic for me that the weather outside was so nice, but it was actually at night that the crazy stuff in the book starts happening. In the book, it's almost immediately apparent that the hotel has its design set out for the little boy, Danny. Now, Danny is an incredible character because he's a 4-year-old boy that can see the future. But not only can he see the future, he can also see the spirits of people who have died and communicate with them. Of course, he hates that, but I mean, what freaking 4-year-old wouldn't hate seeing spirits of dead people? But even Danny seeing the corpses of dead people isn't even the scariest part of this freaking book. He's just getting started. Guys, I don't know what it is about this room. Every time I come back here, bro, I got no breath in my lungs. Part of me is thinking it's the elevation, but the thing is I grew up in the West my whole life. I grew up in Colorado, I grew up in Utah, so this should not be a problem. Okay, take 2. Better? Okay, take 2. I'll see you later. Or I could leave something was happening outside of my room that I couldn't resist.
Oh my gosh. Yo, did you guys see that? Someone hit the door like really hard. Wait, take a video. Take a video, yeah. Let's see, because they said every like 60 seconds. That scared me, bro. Wait, is someone in there? No. There's someone in there. No, you're trolling us. No. Matthew, they're trolling us. If you're a ghost, log. No. Yeah, there's someone in there.
Guys, you won't believe this. He came back for more.
Is anyone there? Knock twice if yes. Hello? But bro, I literally saw that you can see the light change.
Hey, we're not through the upstairs through it.
It's completely dark in there. It's completely dark in there because you could have still seen light. Hello? Knock twice if you're a ghost. No. Yeah. Okay, shut up. No. Wait, I need to ask you some more questions. Okay, are you a boy or a girl? Knock once for a girl and twice for a boy.
They literally proceeded for the next 20 minutes to ask me the most ludicrous questions possible.
We need to ask actually productive questions.
Alright, let's try that.
Are you single? Not in a weird way. Are you single? Once for yes, twice for no.
I swear, you can't even make that stuff up.
Do you have you ever thought of doing tarot cards? Once for yes, twice for no. Do you want to do tarot cards? Once for yes, twice for no. Will it make you mad if we do tarot cards right here? Once for yes, twice for no.
Yo, I think he's already mad. We just made you mad, knock 3 times.
Yeah. Okay, chat.
Okay, bye.
No, we're staying.
Okay.
I'm gonna do tarot cards.
Deal with it.
Matthew.
I kid you not. They then proceeded to do tarot for like 10 minutes, and through the whole process, they ended up calling me John because they couldn't decipher a good name for me. It was either John or Jamal for some reason, and
John, you still there? Once for yes, twice for no.
Do you want us to stay longer? Once for yes, twice for no. You want us to leave? Once for yes, twice for no. Oh, what?
What? No. That's crazy. Wait.
Okay, it's about 10 minutes to my tour. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna leave this bad boy running to see if we can't hear or see or catch anything while I'm gone. I do have some stuff on the bed and some stuff here on the table. Let's see if our little Miss Maid cleans up after me. So obviously I didn't get any reading done with those kids lurking outside my door, but I got to that after the tour, of course. A stay in the Stephen King suite comes with a complimentary ghost tour, and I picked, of course, the Shining dedicated tour. Which was, of course, an incredible way to immerse myself even further in reading that book as I went throughout the Stanley that evening. Couldn't have gotten a better experience. Okay, was that just me, or did that sound like it came from inside the room? Listen a few more times and tell me what you think. Call me crazy. Maybe I am. Anyway, the tour was full of all sorts of weird stuff. I will say though, this tour got me in the headspace to continue reading The Shining all night. Okay, y'all, just got back from my tour. Dude, super interesting. Took a dedicated Shining tour. Me, hold me. Walked all around the campus of this hotel because there's multiple buildings. There's a concert hall, there's servants' quarters, there's caretaker quarters, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It was all dedicated to The Shining, how Stephen King got the idea. We've already discussed that in this video. But I did, at the end of it, ask the tour guide what is the craziest story that he's ever heard about room 217. And the thing that he brought up to me was the incident with Jim Carrey. Now, there's really not much to tell about the whole Jim Carrey situation. Essentially, the story goes, in 1994, when Jim Carrey was staying in Estes Park during the filming of Dumb and Dumber, he stayed in room 217. Apparently, he came downstairs at night in his boxers, demanded to be put in another place to stay because he just could not bear to go back to room 217. And to this day, the man refuses to speak about what happened to him in the room. Is he full of crap or is he being authentic? The world may never know. To this day, nobody knows what really happened with Jim Carrey in this hotel. The interesting thing that the tour guide told me was that he believes the story's a little bit fabricated, especially because everybody has their own interpretations, everybody has their own versions. That's the only story I got out of him. And unfortunately, I was not able to capture any audio because he does have copyright. Unfortunately, it is a very distinct tour and it's only at this hotel. If I were to put the tour guide's voice and likeness on the internet, he could get fired for breaching copyright. And I don't want to do that to him because he was awesome. So anywho, that was the tour. Now I have the rest of the evening. So you know what that means. It's reading time. Oh, and before we go, at the moment, my crap's still everywhere. I don't know what I'm doing trying to provoke a demon, but it ain't working. Probably because I got the blood of Jesus. Not in... You know what I mean, I believe in Jesus. I'm gonna go read. I put this in the bathroom. See what we get. And as my evening commenced, I ventured into the scary parts of The Shining. Oh boy. And you know what? The craziest thing is, the scarier the book got, the more experiences I started having around me. For instance... You want to know the crazy part, folks? I'm the only person inside of this building. This is the lodge, not the main hotel. So all of this is happening around me while I'm there alone. Now, I don't know about you or what you just heard, but after reviewing this footage, I didn't hear that voice in real life. I only hear that on the footage. Tell me what you think this is again. I have no clue what that is. I don't want to be full of BS, but that's strange. And of course, after any weird paranormal experience, any rational person would just go back to reading their freaking book. I mean, come on, dude. What the heck? Now, folks, I have listened to that footage so many times, and I have no idea what that voice is saying, but the closest thing that it does sound like is my name. And upon further inspection, that audio is coming from inside the hotel room. It's not coming from outside, but I digress. The feeling in the room was palpable, and it was getting worse. And the crazy part is I had my back to the exit, where I was freaking sitting, only exit in the entire room. The more that I listened to this audiobook while I was walking around exploring, the more creepy and unsettling the place became. I mean, look at me running away right here. What the fetch am I running away from? And as I was hightailing it out of the lodge building, I decided to attempt something that I'd been trying to do since I got to the hotel. Interview an employee.
And we have this video around Christmas time. This is the front desk. You can tell how far away that door is.
Yeah.
We used to have that picture right there.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was like, it shattered it completely.
Oh, it fell back there.
Yeah, and this door, it's not like the easiest to open because it gets stuck.
Yeah. What the heck?
It was kind of scary. I like came back and saw it was on the ground. I was like, what is happening right now? What just happened? This is the tunnel downstairs.
Whoa, wait, we can go there?
You can't go in there without a tour. You have to
Okay.
take the haunted ghost tour, but I went in there one day and I caught, you can kind of see it's like a girl that's hanging upside down in there.
Oh, good lord.
So these tunnels used to be made for like housekeepers because they weren't allowed to like go where
Oh.
ours are now. So they had to go through these tunnels, and they weave all the way through the lodge into the concert hall and back. You can still crawl through there and kind of like navigate your way.
Do you just go wandering sometimes?
Yeah.
All the
Just go
time?
wander around. My favorite place to wander is probably Lucy's room in the concert hall, but I go in there every like once in a while. I like to go say hi to Paul and Lucy. Paul's not the biggest fan of me.
How so?
I think it's just because I'm down there so often and I'm new, so I've only been here for 2 months.
Okay.
So he doesn't tend to like new people.
How does he show his dislike for you?
He likes messing with me quite a bit. Like you can hear his footsteps walk down this hallway.
Oh,
Like
my.
I flip around really fast and then he just doesn't do it again. Or I'll hear him like literally following me across like wooden like walkways.
Oh my gosh. And it's just in the concert hall?
Just in the concert hall. So I actually don't go into McGregor anymore. We're allowed to like cross through there if we're going to work, but I don't like going in there because one night I always do the 3 p.m.s to 11 p.m.s.
Okay.
And I heard the piano playing in there. And the Cascades likes to play like the soft jazz with the piano, and we all have access to the speakers. So I wanted to see if the piano music was playing. Nothing was playing.
Wow.
And it was like so loud, so I went over there and I cracked it open, make sure nobody's playing that piano, and then it just stops. And
No.
I turned around and went, I'm good. A story that not a lot of people know is if you walk up this staircase here, there's actually a little boy in the early 1920s that had passed away due to falling down the stairs. A lot of witnesses actually say that he was pushed. He didn't just fall.
Pushed by another spirit?
We don't know.
Oh my.
But if you feel tugging on your pants, specifically like at the knee, that's him. That's
People
what
feel
he likes
that?
to do. Yeah. There's also another little boy on the 4th floor. It said that his mom killed him. Can't confirm. We can't find like a death
Lord.
certificate. That's just like something that I have read in a book. And he likes to make your hair super like fizzy and like goes up. It's like electricity static,
Yeah.
but it's like more like chunks of your hair.
Oh, he'll
going
just
up.
pick up.
Yeah, he likes playing with hair.
And that's just in the hallway?
Just in the hallway.
And yes, I did eventually ask what was on all of our minds. Do you have anything crazy about 217?
The craziest thing is probably that on like the 25th when the Shining Ball was happening, there was a lot of energy going on in here.
Really?
And someone called down saying that their fuse box just kept, or their fuse kept shutting off. There's no lights in there, and I had gone up like 6 times by now to go fix it. And it was only their room. There wasn't high winds that night or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth was just kind of messing with them.
Because that's where I'm staying, so I'm
Oh,
curious.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I've heard so far. The only craziest story that I've heard is probably 413, where
Okay.
their light kept flickering on and off, and
Oh, that
their
would
TV
suck.
turned automatic static.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it turned into a photo
A photo of what?
of just like a horror movie. Oh, speaking of which, 232, I was working one night, and there was a young couple staying up there after their honeymoon, and they asked us to repair the batteries in their remote
while they were like off
okay.
having dinner or something.
Yeah.
My engineer went up there, replaced the batteries, came back down to let me know, and then he radioed me saying that he was hearing like a very scary movie, but it was super loud in the hallway. So
Yeah.
I tried to call the room to ask them to like quiet it down. As I called for the second time with no answer,
Yeah.
the young couple walks up, and I'm like, "Are you guys in your room?" And they're like, "No, we've been in our car for an hour charging our phones." And I was like, "You're not gonna believe this, but something is playing a horror movie really loud in your room. You guys should go investigate that right now."
Yeah.
They ran up there, and by the time they opened the door, because they could hear it down the hallway.
Yeah.
It muted itself, but it was still on the horror movie.
You're
it was
kidding
so
me.
weird.
I don't even know what time it is. It is pretty much 1 in the morning. I walked around this entire place, went into every single building that I could go into, all while listening to The Shining. Picking places to sit down and read it and also listen to the audiobook. I also tried to take a lot of photos, a lot of videos to see if I could capture anything and really make the immersive experience with reading this book was so worthwhile. You know, if it mentioned they were in the lobby, I was in the lobby. If they mentioned they were by the grand staircase, I was by the grand staircase. If they mentioned the hedge maze, I was in the hedge maze. And of course I went to other places because the hotels don't exactly mirror each other, crossing the mediums between novel and movie. I guess that's halfway, essentially. I mean, I'm on page 243. Book is... Oh, holy crap, it's $4.97. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because I do need to get a little bit of sleep and I do need to drive. It's like almost a 2-hour drive back to the airport. I'm not going to kill myself to read this book or finish this book before I leave because that'd be insane. Since I have already read it, I think to give ourselves one last big uber push to immerse ourselves, I'm going to read the heavy hitter chapters. It's about chapter 45 to pretty much the climax. Actually, I could probably start on chapter 46. So I'm going to skip this whole portion of the book. We're going to try to read the rest of this before the end. I want to read the scariest chapters in the places that they're supposed to be in. And so I'm going to take you along with me. We're going to spend the early wee hours of the morning by ourselves. Essentially, everyone's asleep. But I think now if I go outside, I will be the only person. Without further ado. And here's where the true immersion of this book finally came to life. The scary chapters of this book really do pack a punch, and walking around this place by myself alone at night, it really added to the creepy atmosphere, and it really delved me into this immersive experience. I'm telling you. It's experiences like I'm about to show you that really added to the dread of this book. Did you hear that? Let's play it again, shall we? You want to know the funny thing? You really want to know the funny thing? I am walking on the 4th floor by myself. It is like 2:30 in the morning. I'm the only person awake. And that's what we hear in the footage? It sounds like demons talking to each other. What the heck? And you want to know the crazy part? There was no wind that night. Absolutely none. Which made reading this book outside quite nice. But it wasn't just the hotel that was immersing me in the experience. It was Stephen King's prose. Even he will be the first to say that he tried way too hard when writing this book, but I think it paid off completely. And it's not just the writing that's amazing. It's the freaking characters. Some of his best in the early game, hands down. And how the hotel just messes with the characters. It felt like I was vicariously being messed with as I was just simply walking around the grounds of America's most haunted hotel. But at the same time, I've never had an experience like this reading a book. And you know what? That was the whole point of this venture in the first place, to immerse myself completely, and boy, do I think I succeeded. Okay, before I knew it, I found myself asleep in front of the fire on one of the most comfortable armchairs I've ever had the freaking infinite pleasure to sit in. I fell asleep with the audio book going, so I have no idea where I'm going. I didn't finish. Oh gosh, no. I limped my way up here at like 2 in the morning, and it's like 6:30 right now. I got uninterrupted sleep. No ghosts, goblins, ghouls, anything of that nature. There is something that I want to do with this book before I leave. There's one thing that I noticed when looking at this shelf, and that is they don't have a copy of The Shining in the Stephen King suite. They have all sorts. They have a whole selection of other Stephen King works. I mean, they have more non-Stephen King than they have actual Stephen King. I love my copy of The Shining, but here's the thing. No Stephen King suite is perfect without its own copy of The Shining. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna donate it. I'm gonna slip it right in here. And just like that, there was no trace that I was ever here. All right, I'll see you back in Texas because we need to talk about The Shining. Don't worry, we're almost done. The Shining by Stephen King. What an experience this was. Not only getting to reread that magnificent novel, but getting to read it in the place that inspired it. Using that location as a means to immerse myself in the atmosphere of this novel was priceless. A freaking priceless experience. I would recommend that 1,000 times out of 1,000 times. It was that freaking good. I think as a whole, sometimes Stephen King can be viewed as like, oh, he's just Stephen King, he writes creepy stuff and blah, 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 blah. But The Shining truly does have literary merit. I think it shows not only in the horror genre for what it's done since. It took the classical haunted house trope and kicked it up a notch by making it a freaking haunted hotel. But then of course how Stephen King weaves just some of his best characters that he's ever written over the course of a little under 500 pages, and how you understand them, you feel for them, you sympathize with every single character, and you understand mentally how the hotel could break them down this way. It's a book about isolation and a book about a family that struggles to survive on the brink of destruction because of that isolation. I mean, it's dark in the themes that it tackles: addiction and obsession, and of course the supernatural and what that could do to a person, how that could influence somebody's motives and desires and thoughts, and ultimately how a normal person can become corrupted by an outside force. And there's many more themes to go along with those. But of course The Shining didn't just impact the literary space, it impacted every single area that horror touches. It's also one of the scariest horror movies ever, of all time, hands down. Jack Nicholson is a force of nature, and Kubrick really channeled him to get at the heart of what the original story was all about through the character of Jack Torrance. Marvelous in its scope and absolutely flawless in execution. I swear, this story remains one of the best ever written. I hope by now you're convinced you need to read it if you haven't, or at least watch the movie, you know. Save yourself some trouble if you don't feel like it. But folks, that's it. That is me reading The Shining in America's most haunted hotel. Thanks for sticking around. If you're new, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. If you're returning, I love you so much. It's good to see you again, and guess what? I'll see you in the next one.